Hi, I'm Tracy McLean Lowe, and we're back with Devil's Advocate today. And the subtext of war. Hi, here I am. Yeah, today is Sunday, the 8th of May here in Canada. We're just ending British VE Day for the end of World War II, 77th anniversary. And here's that celebration. I'm not quite sure what they've been doing, but I do believe they haven't been doing what Russia generally does, and that's doing a parade down Main Street. Now, as we sit here on the 77th anniversary, in Russia at this time, it is past midnight on the night, or past midnight, so it's now the 9th of May, which is the day for their celebration. And this is based on the time that the surrender certificates or paperwork was signed, which was at 23:01 Central Europe time, not Russia time, which at that particular time was probably just after 12:01 perhaps. So the 9th of May. Now, the subtext of the war and the Nazism that Putin is desperately trying to get rid of is just that it's history. It's based on a memory that he, I feel, is using as an excuse, and it's a pretty poor, in fact, it's a piss poor excuse when it comes to invading Ukraine at this particular time. Now, like Blackwater in the USA, here that is there, Russia has the Wagner Group, and these are private military firms that go into war zones. And we know from the Blackwater debacle over the years that there were many issues during the Iraq War with Blackwater having come in and done some of the most vilest acts of all. These are basically mercenaries. As a private contractor, though, they are probably higher paid than your standard mercenaries would be, say, from Africa. Then you've also got the Chechen militia that have come into Ukraine as well. And we literally do, at this particular moment, have wars within wars. Tiny little battles between heads of state and oligarchs and more heads of state. Yes, US has its own imperialism sort, and taking a look at what we've got and the propaganda that's going on in Russia at the moment, you can almost hear the Republicans, you can almost hear the Trump campaign. Their talk of patriots and Putin's talk of Nazis, and that these soldiers that he sent out as cannon fodder are there to battle anything more than what is effectively the new China Silk Road, the Iron Silk Road. Again, Ukraine is key to this facility, and for some reason, they thought it was a good idea. From what I can tell in the news, they're saying that Xi Jinping, through the whole zero COVID debacle that they're going through at the moment, and the severe lockdowns in Shanghai and possibly in Beijing as well, that Xi Jinping is not fully aware of what's going around with the rest of the world, either with COVID or with the war in Russia. In fact, he was basically, according to the news, Xi Jinping must realize by now that he's apparently been lied to by Putin. Putin, as far as Xi Jinping was concerned, was not going to be starting a war. They needed to work with Ukraine, not war against it, but Russia wants control, or at least Putin wants control. We keep on calling this the Russian war. This isn't the Russians against Ukrainians. This is Putin against whoever's in his way, and Nazism is the excuse. Granted, there possibly are some neo-Nazis in the Ukraine. Said they are everywhere. There isn't a country in the world that doesn't have some form of support for neo-Nazis or is emboldened by the actions of the Oath Keepers in USA and the attempted coup on January 6th. Again, these are all subtexts to the war that Putin started. Had they managed to do a coup, had Trump and his cohorts managed to take control of Congress and disregard Biden's election, yeah, at that point, they would have signed the deal of the century with Putin and they would have given Ukraine to Russia. There wouldn't have been a war. There wouldn't have been need for a war because that was the plan all along. Xi Jinping wasn't part of that plan. Not at all. In fact, you'll find that more likely or not, North Korea might have known more about the plan than Xi Jinping. Should I say Kim Jong-un? Kim Jong-un. Pooh, pardon my pronunciations. Basically, this is a rather short introduction and information behind what Alana and I will be going through discussing this ongoing war. If we take a look at Putin in a recent meeting, and I don't seem to have the photo available, but Putin and his people have basically decided that they can do as they please. Wherever the countries have said that they'd be neutral if a war involved Russia, I don't think they intended for it to be neutral. I mean, and he's allegedly got some ailment, cancer, Putin himself, which I suppose he's now trying to get into place his legacy for the future. Again, people have been speaking about this for weeks with regards to why Putin has done this now. Why did Putin lie to Xi Jinping when he went to see him and said, yeah, we're not going to battle with any of these people, we'll work with them. But Putin only wants to work with people who work and will do what he says. Yes men. Trump needs yes men. Kim Jong-un needs yes men. Xi Jinping, I don't think has any yes men left. If, but the economic problems that China has of its own, not even instilled by foreign sanctions, the way Russia has been instilled by foreign sanctions, and then still trying to show some strength by flying over through taking their military aircraft through Taiwanese airspace and threatening Taiwan. Has he decided that this is a good idea for him to do now to get everybody off his back about COVID? I mean, trying to start another problem is not going to solve the problems you already have. In fact, it's just going to exacerbate them. One can only hope on this particular day that Ukraine sends Putin a message. And while as harsh as that may sound, that message would be, go and have your operation, come back, feel better, and put an end to all this crap. Because somewhere along the line, the people you were trying to kill off, like Abramovich, or the your opposition who you've thrown in jail, or the oligarchs that have, I'm sorry, they did not commit murder suicides. It just wasn't. We know that within our guts. Putin doesn't like, he's tying up loose ends. Anybody who isn't agreeing with him right now is going to be out on the air one way or another, because that's what dictators do. Okay, Trump didn't kill off his opposition, but he certainly threw them out of their jobs when they disagreed with them, or certainly had tried to have them thrown out of their jobs because they disagreed with him. Those are the ways of the dictators. And as we sit here on VE Day, we're reminded we said we'd never do this again. So isn't it about time we actually started listening to ourselves and didn't do this again? Put your weapons down, Russia. To every Russian soldier out there, put your weapons down. Go home. We don't want you to die. We don't want any more Ukrainians to die. And really, it's not worth it, because all you're doing it for is trade. They have literally done this so they can control a trade route. And the last person who tried to control a trade route lost $4 billion annually. Just ask the Texas governor what he did to try and screw over a trade route. Why? So he could blame somebody else for the problems. Shit happens, folks. So I am Tracy McLean Lowe. This is Devil's Advocate. Please do like and subscribe. And where's my subscribe button? Hope to see you soon. That's it from us. Goodbye.